What's poppin', C Squad? It's your girl Keisha, and I'm here with my all tea, all shade Fargo, season 4, episode 11. This is the season finale review. I am back. Before I start, I have some tea for you guys. I will be doing Vlogmas this year, so my filming schedule will be changed. So this is the filming schedule for the month of December, because I will be dropping a video every day in December. So on Mondays, I'll be dropping nostalgic tea story videos. Tuesday, I will be dropping one of my top 10 videos. I always do my top 10 albums, movies, television shows, and books. So on Tuesdays, one of those videos will be dropping. Wednesday, I will be doing reviews on Real Housewives of Orange County and Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Thursdays, Braxton Family Values. Friday, behind the scenes tea video. Saturday, Spill the Tea. Sunday, Power, Real Housewives of Potomac, and Real Housewives of Atlanta. So we have a full schedule over here. A lot of you guys always ask me what lip color I'm wearing. Today I'm wearing Artist Couture, and I'm wearing the shades Uncensored 2.0 and Thirst Trap. I have Uncensored over here in the corners, and in the center I have Thirst Trap, and these are by Artist Couture. You can get them at artistcouture.com. Okay, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, and make sure that you hit that thumbs up button, as well as hit that notification bell button so you know when my videos drop. All right, so on the season finale of Fargo, we start off with a song from Johnny Cash. I love his voice. His voice is just so beautiful and haunting. And a look back on all the characters. So we see Josto getting drunk at the bar that his family frequents often. Then we see Miss Mayflower in jail. We see Lemuel giving Debril back the keys to the place because Ethelrita came through for us last week. Then we see Lloyd meeting with Ebal in the park to discuss, how we're going to move forward. I'm pretty sure he spilled the tea in that scene about, Josto being the one to kill his father, and Miss Mayflower being the one to help him. So Josto rolls up on Dr. Harvard and hits him over the head, beat the shit out of him, and was like, "You remember me?" So he finally got his get back. He finally was able to get that nigga back for not letting them in the hospital the day his father was accidentally murdered. So he then puts him in the back seat of the car with the alderman whose daughter he was supposed to marry. The alderman is bloodied and beaten, and so is Dr. Harvard. So then we see Miss Mayflower. She's bailed out of jail, but doesn't know who bailed her out. But she's just happy that her criminal psychopath, old Dexter ass, is out of fucking jail. So she's like, okay, come out of here. So then we see Josto has killed Dr. Harvard and the alderman. They're in the back seat, shot the fuck up with a machine gun. So he's smoking a cigarette, and he decides to set the car on fire and walks away from it with his machine gun. And this nigga was feeling himself. He was feeling himself. He's feeling himself. He's feeling his. So Lloyd at the park says to Ebal, "You want this war over? Get your house in order and we can talk." So Ebal says, "I'll get back to you," and he leaves. So then we see the country nigga from a few episodes back and his men at the diner that what was his name? Dr. Senator used to always frequent. And they laughing and talking. They just having a good old time. So we see someone ease by the door. We see a shadowy figure. And I was like, oh my God, some shit is about to go down. Some motherfuckers about to get got. So then we see Lloyd standing in front of the window drinking. And, he's just looking out of the window with a very nostalgic look on his face. Very serious look on his face. And then we see one of Josto's men wake him up and tell him that they got cannon, that they won the war. It's lit. We're about to go party. We're about to pop some bottles up in this bitch, about to fuck some hoes, about to smoke all the weed and the coca. Let's get it. So then we see Leon stroll in behind Lloyd while his back is turned, while he's looking out the window. And I was like, I knew Leon wasn't shit. I knew you was a motherfucking bust ass nigga, old simp ass nigga, old Trader Joe ass nigga. So he pointed a gun at the back of Lloyd's head. He's salty because he wanted to be the man, but he could never really be the man because he wasn't about their life. So And then we see Josto put on his coat and he looking himself in the mirror and, he say, bang. That was his little thing. That was his little word. And I was like, quit trying to make fetch happens. What movie was that from? So he then heads out, ready to celebrate, but finds Ebal and the rest of his men along with Miss Mayflower, all standing there waiting on him. So you look like, what the fuck is going on here? Why the fuck is this bitch here? So Josto says, like, what is she doing here? And Miss Mayflower says, very funny, Mr. Bill Poster. Because she think that her nigga that got her out of jail. So Josto say, what's going on? So then we go back to Lloyd and we see Leon, who thinks that he's about to kill Lloyd. He then gets got from behind by Opal, who runs up behind him and starts to strangle the shit out of him. So this whole thing was a setup. It was all planned. It was all set in motion. Lloyd knew that Leon was, about to turn on him and try to kill him, and he was ready and prepared for it. So, he's getting strangled the fuck out by Opal. Then we see the guy, the shadowy figure coming to the diner was one of Lloyd's men as well, who pretended like he had a box of flowers in his hands, but inside the flower box was a machine gun. Then we see one of the waiters, who was one of Lloyd's men as well, pull out, and the country nigga was like, oh, fuck. That nigga got. So all them niggas was killed. And I was like, come on, Lloyd, with the bullshit. So Lloyd stands there with his back turned the whole time. Opal is choking Leon the fuck out. So finally, eventually, Leon stops breathing and Opal throws his body to the floor. And I was like, suck ass nigga, ain't nobody gonna miss you. So Josto says to everyone, he was like, he said, we got the guys. Why aren't we celebrating? Where's the bad bitches? Where's the strippers? Where's the bottles? Like, what the fuck is going on? So Ebal says, where's your brother? Because remember, he got accidentally killed. Let's talk about that because I didn't get the chance to do a review last week. I didn't like the way Gitano went out. I felt like, I know it was supposed to be ironic and whatever, because that's the way Fargo does, but I really didn't like the way that he went out. He was this big, bad, bold monster of a figure, and he dies because he tripped and fall and the gun went off. Like, it was so inclimactic. I hope I'm saying the word right. But I wanted him to die a better way, like in a shootout, a battle or something. But I know it was supposed to be ironic and funny, but so Ebal was like, where's your brother? And Josto said he didn't make it. What is this? And Ebal says, Josto Fada, you stand accused of crimes against the family. You have betrayed us, New York. You conspired with this woman to kill your own father. Josto said that never happened. Of course, he wasn't going to tell on himself. He ain't no fool. So Miss Mayweather said he acts so nice and I didn't think I should lie. I was like, this crazy bitch. So Josto says he was dying. And Miss Mayflower said, you said, well, take care of him. Josto says, we got high. She's just a skirt I met that one time. And Ebal says she was at the funeral though. Like, you remember that, boo? And Miss Mayflower was like, and all those times you were at my apartment. I was like, bitch, now your ass want to be a snitch. So Josto says, I'm the boss. So I order you to stop right now. Like, he tried to throw his dick out on the table thinking he still run shit, but nigga, your back is against the corner. Nobody's listening to you. So he tries to walk out the room, but of course he's blocked by the men. And he was like, trying to figure a way out of this shit. So Josto continues to deny that he killed his father. Ebal then pulls out the ring. And I was like, ooh, woo. So Ebal says, you killed your father so you could wear the crown, and your brother so you didn't have to share. And I was like, where's the lie? So Josto is pulled out by two of the men, and he was like, wait till I tell New York about this. They're going to peel your eyeballs out and break your neck and break your balls and all this crazy shit. And Ebal says, New York knows. And I was like, oh, who's in charge of the girls now? Ebal is. So Miss Mayflower is then dragged out too. So then we see both of them in the back of the car with two of the henchmen in the front. So Miss Mayflower says, they made me tell them. And Josto says, I'm not talking to you. And she says, well, you don't have to be mean about it. Like, they so childish and ignorant. The shit was funny. So they go back and forth, and Josto calls her a hag. And she was like, don't call me a hag. And he was like, hag. And then she commits to beating the shit out of him in the back seat. That shit was funny as fuck. So then the dude turned around and was like, can you all stop before I kill you? So they chilled the fuck out, but she hit his ass again one more time off GP. So then they're taken to the woods in the middle of nowhere where their graves have been dug. And there's two more men there with guns waiting on them. So Josto's like, you don't have to do this. Hasn't there been enough killing? He's trying to talk his way out of being, murdered. He's trying to say, let's, all run away. We can start over. And Joe, the dude, was like, nigga, please. Like, now you want to stop all the killing? Like, boy, stop. So Miss Mayflower puts on her lipstick because she was like, bitch, I'm going to be cute if I'm about to die, bitch. When I meet my maker, bitch, I'm going to meet that motherfucker with red lipstick on so I can suck the devil's dick, bitch. So Joe was like, any last requests? And Miss Mayflower was like, can you shoot him first so I can watch? So he was like, sure. So he shoot Josto in the head and Josto's body falls back into the grave. And this bitch loves anything that got to do with death. So she like stares over and looks into the grave like, oh my God, like this is the most interesting shit I've ever seen. So then he shoots her in the head and her body falls into the grave as well. And it was just so ironic that these two fucking imbeciles end up dying right next to each other in the same grave plot, and that was their demise. That was their end. Everything that they did in the beginning of the season came back to bite them in the ass in the end. So then we see Lloyd and his family return home. They've been on the run. They've been living in a safe house because of this war. So they walk up to the steps and they notice that the door is open. So he was like, stay right here. So Buell, his wife, and their two daughters wait outside. So he goes in the house with his gun pulled out and he sees a bowl and figurines of the family on the center of the dining room table. Then he sees shoes and he sees some clothes and he's looking like, what the fuck is going on here? He don't know if somebody fucking with him. Then lined up all the Satchel's clothes, because they assume that Satchel is dead. So he goes up the steps and it leads to him going into Satchel's room and he finds Satchel and the dog on the bed sleep. And he's like, oh my God, like he cannot believe his eyes. He's like, Satchel, and Satchel wakes up and he runs over to him and hugs him and he's like, oh my God. He's like, babe, babe, babe. So Buell walks in the house and she drops her things at the door because she's just like, oh my gosh, she thought her baby was dead. So Satchel runs down the steps and hugs his mama and the girls hug and they just all have one big family hug. And it was so happy. I was so happy to see that he reunited with his family and I couldn't believe that he walked all the way home. Like Satchel was that nigga. But Satchel, of course, isn't the same Satchel that left in the beginning of the season. He is hardened now. He knows how the world works. He sees how fucked up life can be. He's seen death. Like he's changed forever at that point. So I had already known that at that point, but especially with the twist at the end, brought it all the way full circle for me. Because I was like, oh, Satchel about to be a problem. And I thought we were going to see in this episode how he's hardened and how he's going to end up following his father's footsteps. But we saw it in a different way. So Lloyd meets with Ebal. And Ebal said, so all is forgiven. And Lloyd was like, back to business. Like, what's good? Let's get it. Let's get cracking, So Ebal says, so I have a few minor adjustments to the deal. So he hands Lloyd a piece of paper. And Lloyd looks over the paper. And on one side is all of these businesses. On the other side, it's like 5 businesses left. He was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Like, this, you trying to take a half of my businesses. He was like, we had a deal in the park. He was like, we had a fucking deal. He going to fuck off because he thought that shit was just about to keep on rolling. He was about to be good. He thought that Ebal would throw him a bone, like they was going to be 50-50 on some shit. But nah, Ebal fucked him over because that's just how black people are done. Black people are always giving the short end of the stick. We're always getting fucked in the ass. And white people are always going to have white people back. And they're going to always be in the power position. And that's the fucked up way that the world has always been, where it's always the white man on top and the black man always gets pushed down. And they will lie and cheat and steal and tell you one thing to your face and then play you behind your back. And this whole season, we thought that Ebal was one of the good ones. But at the end of the day, no matter how cool him and Dr. Senator was, he gonna do him and he gonna always have his own people's backs. So Ebal says this is just a sort of the new plan. You two are national. Yes. Wait, no, you are one man in one city. Big fish, small pond, but we are the sea. I can tell you're thinking, just kill me like the men before, but this is a mistake because when you look at me, you don't see the man behind me and the man behind him and all the men that follow forever. You work for us now, or we will kill you and find someone else who will. That monologue was everything, because that shit was so real, so true to life. Because like Lloyd is one man in one city. He's small time compared to the mafia that Ebal and them were associated with. You know what I'm saying? We as black people don't have that kind of lineage with us. So that's why I so enjoyed this season, that we got to see this black crime family story that you wouldn't get to know about in the history books. But through Ethelrita, we got to experience the canon mafioso family. So Opal is standing behind Lloyd. He just swallows because he feels so bad for his boss. Like, we just went through all of that. And in the end, we still lost. You know what I'm saying? And now my boss is being sunned, basically, and there's nothing that he can do about it. And it's just so fucked up. Like, damn, really? So Lloyd gets up to leave. Then we see Lloyd sitting in the back of the car, and he's just staring off into space because he can't believe this shit. But this is what happens when you live this type of lifestyle and all the dirt and stuff that Lloyd has done. Like, you sold your son for this corrupt piece of the pie, you know, of the American dream. And you're going to have to suffer for those consequences and those decisions that you made. Like, you sacrificed your blood for this. Like, you don't think that this shit was going to come back around on your ass? So Opal says, boss. And Lloyd says, go home. War's over. It's over. And that it's over meant like it's all over. Like, this motherfucker got me by the balls. I'm still a slave. I'm still just a nigga. Like, no matter how hard I tried to come up, I still got fucked over. He got fucked over with credit card shit. Now he got fucked over with this. So he just like, fuck this. So Lloyd gets out the car and Opal drives off. And I knew right then and there some shit was about to go down. So he goes up the steps. He got a bag of oranges for his family. And he watches his family through the window. We see Lemuel playing the horn. The Satchel sitting in a chair reading a book. The little girls is playing, and Buell is looking, overseeing everything, and he's just looking through the window like, this is what really truly matters. And he has a smile on his face, and I knew right then and there, I was like, this nigga about to get killed. But I wasn't tripping off who was going to do the killing. And then out of nowhere, we heard this, and then he like jerks, and then he turns around, and it's none other than Zelmar. Forgot all about Zelmar, and that's what, as a writer, what you want the viewers or the readers to do. You want them to forget about certain characters, so when they come back, it's such a shocker. And I was shocked because I forgot all about Zelmar. And she continues to stab him, and he's looking like, holy shit, like, because even he forgot about her. He forgot that he told on him and gave them up and everything. And she was like, this is for Swanee. And she stands up, and as she's bagging away, Satchel sees her out the window. And so he gets up and he goes to the door, and Zelmar is standing there with the bloody knife, and she says, shh. And he just looks at her. He lets her go. She drops the knife and she walks away, and he rushes outside and sits next to his father, who's breathing. And he just staring at him eye to eye, eye to eye. And I thought that he was going to say something to him like, this is what you get for what you did to me. But they just looked at each other. And I felt like that scene was supposed to show us that, once again, Satchel is not the innocent little boy that he once was. He can look at a man dying. He's able to see that and still function. And he witnessed his father die. Look at him in the eye. And Lloyd, like, strokes his cheek, and then his hand falls and he takes his last breath, and they're just sitting there on the porch. And I was like, damn, I know that was fucked up when Buell came outside to see him like that. I wonder how the family survived after that. Like, who took over the family business? Was it Lemuel? You know, Lemuel wanted to be a horn player. So did he give up his dreams of being a musician to take over the family business? Like, I want to know what happened. So then we see Ethelrita closes the show out like she opened the show and says, ask yourself who writes the books, who chooses what we remember and what's forgotten. My name is Ethelrita Smutney, and this is my history report. Because remember, at the beginning of the season, she started off telling us about the history of these mob families. And so we see her grab her bags, and I assume that was her going off to college, which I hope that she was able to do. But then in credits, we see a car driving down, a road, and we see a white guy driving the car, and in the back seat we see not an older gentleman, but adult black man in the back seat, who's played by Bokeem Woodbine. And he pulls out a gun, and he's cocking the gun or whatever, and he's also reminiscing on himself as a little boy walking down those same lonely roads. And we realize that this is Satchel grown up. And so I haven't watched the previous seasons of Fargo, but I do know that Bokeem Woodbine's character was in the previous season. So this was his coming of age story, I guess. So I know a lot of people on Twitter was like, they want to see more of his storyline and stuff like that, and more of Etherita. I want to see more of his storyline now. I am going to go back so I can see how his character was introduced into this Fargo world, and good to see how they brought everything back around full circle. Overall, I give this season an A. I really enjoyed it. This is my first time viewing Fargo. I really enjoyed this season. I really enjoyed the writing and the acting, the costumes, the settings, and everything. Everything was wonderfully done. I think Chris Rock did a good job. I won't give him a great job, but I give him a good job. This is a good role for him. I think that he pulled it off as best as he could. But the people that stood out to me, the stars of this show, were, of course, Miss Mayflower. The young lady who played her did an awesome job. Glenn Thurman playing Dr. Senator was another standout to me. The young lady that played Etherita, loved her. Lemuel's character, loved him. And the guy that played Josto, I think that he did a wonderful job playing Josto as well. So yeah, that was my Fargo review. This is an excellent season. Hopefully we get a season 5, but I am going to catch up with the other seasons of this show, and I'll let you know my thoughts on it. Once again, make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you guys so much, and I will see you on the next video. Tomorrow, behind the scenes tea video will be dropping to end off the month of November. So see you on tomorrow for my behind the scenes tea video, and get ready for Vlogmas. Love you guys. Thank you for watching. Bye.